Hello, I thought I'd try something a little bit different for a change, and so I'm going to take you on a little wandering tour of Bridgnorth, a lovely historic market town close to where I live. Lots and lots of history here, a castle that dates back to just after the Norman conquest, caves, a network of sandstone caves underneath the town that were lived in until as recently as the 1940s, Civil War history, a castle that has been slighted and has a slightly odd claim to fame now. But let me see if you enjoy this. If you like it, maybe drop a comment below, give the video a like, and I'll do a little bit more of this. Where else would you like me to have a wander and explain the history of? So let's take a wander round Bridgnorth.
Bridgnorth is a town that's nestled kind of halfway between Birmingham and Shrewsbury in southeast Shropshire, so very near to the Welsh borders, right in the middle of the Welsh border with England. It's separated into two areas known as High Town and Low Town. No prizes for guessing how they're distinguished, and it sits on the banks of the River Severn as it makes its way down to the sea. Bridgnorth, unsurprisingly, takes its name from the bridge here over the River Severn, which was to the north of an earlier bridge that existed at Quatford. It's first recorded as being mentioned in 895, when it was noted that the Danes created a camp at Quatbridge. And then in 912, Ethelfleda, the daughter of Alfred the Great, who ruled the kingdom of Mercia, constructed a mound here, which is possibly where Bridgnorth Castle is sited now, as a defensive work against the Danes.
And these are some of the sandstone caves that are beneath High Town in Bridgnorth, believed to date back as far as the Anglo-Saxon period, when local legend claims that Ethelwald, who was a grandson of King Alfred, made his home in these caves and lived here as a hermit. They were used during the English Civil War in an attempt to undermine Bridgnorth when it was under siege from the Roundhead forces of Oliver Cromwell. Bridgnorth then being a significant garrison for the royalist forces of Charles I. And these caves provided homes for local people. People lived in these caves until as recently as the 1940s, when they were eventually stopped from being used as homes for people. But they continue to be used as a play area for local children. Maybe not the safest play area you've ever seen in your life. And unfortunately they were closed off not too long ago, about 10 years ago, following an unfortunate accident in one of the caves, and they stopped being used by local residents and local children from that point onwards, and all of the entrances into the caves are now barred.
There are two churches in High Town in Bridgnorth, St Mary Magdalene, which was designed by Thomas Telford, and St Leonard's, which is closer to the High Street and was once a royal peculiar. Bridgnorth town was actually created in 1101 by Robert of Betjeman, the third Earl of Shrewsbury, who was granted the land here and began construction of a castle and a church. Bridgnorth was encircled for a while by town walls, constructed in the early 13th century and maintained into the 15th century, although John Leland wrote in the 16th century that they were ruined, and of the 5 gates that had originally existed, only one still survives today at Northgate at the end of the High Street. And here we've got Bridgnorth's beautiful town hall, which spans the High Street, built in 1650, a half-timbered building, still in use today. You can go inside and have a look around at exhibitions on local history, and there's quite often a market underneath the town hall on market days too. A plaque here to mark the spot of the governor's house was within the castle precincts, and Charles I visited this building twice in 1642 and 1645. Just wandering up towards the site of the castle and the fantastic St Mary Magdalene's church, designed by Thomas Telford in the classic style. And this is one of the things I really love about Bridgnorth, just having a wander around. You can turn a corner and be confronted with some fantastic views. This goes down towards the castle walk that runs around the outside of the site of the castle, but it gives fantastic views over Lowtown and stretching further off into the distance. It's also quite a good spot to keep an eye out for the steam trains on the Severn Valley Railway as well, if you time it right. Bridgnorth has the Severn Valley Railway, a working steam train that you can get all the way down the tracks to Kidderminster. It's a fantastic ride and a day out. One place that I couldn't get into when I was here is the Cliff Railway, the funicular railway that runs from Lowtown to Hightown, a fabulous piece of engineering, quite a rare thing to see inland, at least in England. Just wandering up into the castle gardens now. There's a lovely set of gardens that surround the remains of the castle. There's a bandstand here, a commemorative statue to those lost from Bridgnorth during the World Wars. A great place to hang out on a nice sunny day and enjoy a picnic maybe. Not too much remains of the castle today. During the Civil War, as mentioned before, this was a significant royal garrison, and there was a significant siege here in 1646, and the castle was bombarded from Panpudding Hill, just across the other side of the river. And the castle was slighted and destroyed when it was taken, and what remains of it now actually leans at an angle of 15 degrees, which I think is 4 times the lean of the Leaning Tower of Pisa. So there's a little claim to fame for the accidental architecture of Bridgnorth.